Well, hello, guys. I hope everybody here is doing great. And this is Lee Cole. I've got my buddy Jim on. Jim, say hello.
Hey, everybody.
And so let's do a sound check. And I was telling Jim right before we started, hey, Saul, how's it going? My dogs would pick this very second to start barking. But those of you who have been on webinars with me recently know that we recently, as in the past few months, adopted a new rescue dog, and we're all of our animals are rescue animals, so we're just going to have to put up with it because we got a little guy who was in a high kill shelter. He's really stressed out still, and I mean, if there's a pin dropping somewhere within a 5 mile radius, he's going to bark. So it is what it is. So, Jim.
Yes,
Attorney
sir.
marketing intensive. Man, this is really, really cool stuff. And, you and I were talking before the webinar started, and I was just talking, because I'm a huge fan of yours, and I was just
Thanks.
talking about the quality of your training. It is phenomenal. Why don't you just start telling us about Attorney Marketing Intensive? You can give us a little background about you. I think all these people know you, so
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about that too much. But tell us about attorney marketing. Why attorneys? Your approach. Why this approach? Because I know you have a huge depth of knowledge here. So
I
just kind
appreciate
of
it.
walk this through this whole thing.
All right. Well, a little bit about me. I had been actually running brick and mortar businesses. I used to operate and run men's clinics all over the country. And I could kind of sense that where who I was working for, the job was going to end. I was opening, operating clinics. And I could tell that uh, they were going to slow down their process. So I said, well, I've got to do something different. So I had a lot of knowledge as far as marketing online for the business itself, SEO, things like that. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to start doing some product development. And it just so happened right after my first launch, they decided, oh, hey, we're not going to open any more clinics. And so this is where my start came in. So I really concentrated more on operating my own agency and as well doing product launches. And so it's been now a couple of years of that, and it's gone great. I can't imagine doing anything else different right now. But as far as the attorney marketing intensive, I've done a couple of attorney courses before, and this is different. And the reason I wanted to come up with something different was because uh, I found in working with, I've got a good attorney network just built up of friends, uh, throughout the years, and I've chatted with a couple of them, and they, I think when we talk with local businesses, they all get calls from people all the time, emails from people all the time about, hey, I want to do your SEO, hey, I want to do your marketing, things like that. And so I knew that something had to be done different. And I've always wanted, and with all my clients, to really position themselves as an authority, and to brand them as there's it's kind of funny. There's a guy, and he actually does look like Tarzan. He's in Kansas City, and he's an attorney. His wife is gorgeous. She's an attorney, and they look like models. And I think actually they were models at one time. And he's Tarzan the lawman, and that is
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
Tarzan the Lawman. I mean, you see the craziest attorney stuff on buses and stuff,
yeah,
but
and
that takes the cake. So sorry, I just busted out laughing when you
yeah,
said that.
no, but here's the thing: he has branded himself, and branding is so important, especially as far as like an attorney goes, as well as just building as an authority figure. So there's different social media platforms that you can brand yourself as an expert. Facebook group, LinkedIn, things like that. And so it's all about helping your lawyer client build themselves as an authority, position themselves an authority, and then basically the lead funnel the faucet just turns on. And so that's really what this course is all about. It's kind of just setting everything up correctly, but it's also how to go out and find that client, contact that client, and then get them on board, and then begin to position. And again, we're talking to them about bringing them more business. I can't emphasize enough when contacting any bit, whether it's a plumber, whether it's an attorney, whether it's a chiropractor, SEO, Facebook ads, Google AdWords. Those are all 4-letter words. They've heard it. They've lost money on it. They don't want to know about that. What they care about is, can you generate me leads? Can you bring in more business? And if you position yourself like that, then it makes it much easier to bring those clients in and go from there. So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell what this course is all revolved around.
Well, I love the branding aspect of it because, as you mentioned on your sales letter, and this is incredibly true. I mean, when it comes to pay-per-click marketing and stuff like this, I mean, these guys pay enormous sums of money just to get a lead. It's
Right.
insane.
And that's the thing is, attorneys, because everybody wants to do business with attorneys because they're kind of the mother lode. People know that that the keywords on Google AdWords are $300, $400, $500, $600 per click on some of the higher clicks, and even some of the non immigration, traffic tickets, things like that. It's still very expensive. Absolutely, they're still expensive, and so attorneys are willing to spend money. It's just showing results, getting them the results, and then it's an open checkbook once you do that.
Yeah, that is really, really true, guys. One of my first clients, of course, this was like, I've been doing this a long time, so this would be back in like 2010, was an attorney with he owned about five attorneys in the office, pretty high-end guy, and basically got in touch with me because he was working with another supposed expert, and it just dropped $10,000 on pay-per-click marketing with zero results. So, and he was pretty pissed off, but he had enough sense to understand that the internet was the direction that things are going. So, and the branding thing, another thing, Jim, about the branding aspect, I love two things I loved everything you said, but I especially love two things that you said. One, I love branding. I think it's extremely important because really you're building an asset. I mean, the name Coca-Cola, if they were ever going to sell that name, it would sell literally for billions of dollars, and that's essentially just branding.
Right.
And but I especially loved when you said these guys don't want to hear the words PPC, they don't want to hear the words SEO, they don't want to hear all this because they've been burned. I would also add to that because, and Jim, you're a sales, you've been a salesman for a long time, so this is like sales. This is like kindergarten sales to you.
Yeah.
But it's the difference between features and benefits, right? I mean,
right.
when you walk in and you start talking about that crap, people's brains turn off because nobody really goes out to find a PPC expert, a pay-per-click expert. What they go out to find is somebody that can bring them some business. And I love the way that you talk to these guys and gals, these attorneys, in terms of I can bring you business, because that is talking, that is talking about the thing in the language that the potential buyer already understands in the way they talk to themselves.
Oh, exactly. Because that's, people want to buy. They don't want to be sold. And yes. if you approach it that way, I mean, you'll get clients, and they'll be interested, they'll be engaged, because I always try and teach it. And Matt Basak taught me this years ago. Everything that you write, from an email to copy, it's what's in it for me, and not me and you, Lee,
Yes.
my clients, my customers, my people. Um, what am I delivering from them? You know, what am I giving them that can benefit them, as opposed to benefiting me? Because if I'm doing it, if I'm selling from the aspect of my client, what's in it for them, then I can then I can go back to the what's in it for me, because there's a lot in it for me, because it makes your job a lot easier, and bringing those clients on board and then delivering for them.
Yeah, and it makes, it turns the sale from a process of, which is what non-salespeople think it is anyway, a process of subterfuge and manipulation. It just turns that into something fairly simple, which
Yeah.
is, when you're talking to someone who has a need, and you actually have the thing that they need, which is, in this case, is more business, right? What that massively simplifies that whole sales process,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
really, number one, they trust you more because you're talking to them in language that they already understand. But two, really, all you got to do is just basically show people, well, this is the kind of thing I'm going to do, and these are approximately the results you should expect, and this is how much it's going to cost. Are you ready to get going on this today?
Right,
It
right.
literally is that simple.
And I'll give kind of just a glimpse into the course real quick. Something that's in there that I'll give away for free.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
Craigslist is a great, people don't think of it, but Craigslist is a fantastic place to find attorneys, because you're finding attorneys that are, and generally they're traffic ticket guys. They're not going to be big ticket attorney guys, but if you can get them more business, they can turn into, big time attorney guys. Um, but they're already advertising, and they get it. They just don't want to waste a lot of money on the advertising, so they'll put up that little Craigslist ad. And you know that those guys are the ones that are, you don't have to go big game hunting with those people.
Uh-huh.
For to start small, I mean, you could probably charge them, five, six, $700 a month, and they're going to be more than happy if you're delivering. And then you can ramp them up as you begin to give them more leads, and you can kind of, say, all right, for 10, 15, I'll charge this, but if we go over, we get into the 25, 30, then I'm going to charge this, and they're going to know the value of what you're bringing them. So that's a great foot in the door, is just contacting attorneys that advertise on Craigslist.
I love that. That is again, this is beautiful, and it takes me back to when I started my offline business, because the way I got started actually was through Craigslist, and I still use it to this day. I love it. A couple of things you said there that I loved. So, in other words, guys, I'm talking to our audience here. In other words, guys and gals, you don't have to go, Jim, when you said you don't have to go after the big game, in other words, you don't have to go after the 2,000, 3,000, $4,000 a month client. That's a little off-putting sometimes when you don't have any clients and you kind of go,
Right.
gulp, I wonder if I can sell that. You can do well by selling, $600, $700 a month services, because, Jim, for one thing, we're talking about recurring income here, right?
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
so if you had 10 clients at $6,000, do the math, that's $72,000 a year, which Lee Cole can't live off of. But a lot of people can do okay with that.
Right.
So that's really cool. And another thing, I mean, it's just from my experience with attorneys. This is true with attorneys and doctors. They all know each other. And
Right.
I mean, it really, I mean, even in a huge city like Atlanta, Atlanta's got almost 7 million people. These guys literally do all know each other. And, you
Oh,
get
they
your foot
do.
in the
Because
door, you do a good job, start getting those referrals. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing, because especially with your smaller guys, the ones that are doing, like I said, traffic tickets and
Uh-huh.
DUIs and things. Because here's the thing: DUI is a pretty expensive process. As far they can charge a lot for that. They're looking at getting their foot in the door with traffic tickets and things like that. But you start off small and imagine that guy, because probably he's not going to have a really great website. Most of them don't that are advertising on Craigslist.
Yeah.
So you can monetize that. You can bring them new business in. Imagine taking that guy and then branding him as an expert, like I teach on LinkedIn, and then putting together a Facebook group and being an expert commentator in different Facebook groups and things like that. That is going to really position. It's going to take that guy to a whole new level that he's never been at, and that's going to be huge for that. And that's going to again build, because people buy from people that they feel that they know, like, and trust. This guy's going to trust you with his firstborn, probably, once you really position and brand him as an expert. He's going to see
Yeah, I
what you've
really
done for
love
him.
that. So we're looking at Craigslist. I mean, that's just one of the ways you have of getting business.
Yeah,
We're
this
looking
is
at
fun.
Craigslist. We're looking at, starting off with an understandable, product. We're looking at a price point of about $600. And folks, we're just talking about starting off. But again, most of these guys have really crappy websites. That's another few $1,000 right there. Now, granted, that's a one-off payment, but making, 2, 3 thousand extra dollars for a website is that's a nice payday, right?
Sure it is. Yeah.
And then you get into the LinkedIn, you get into the Facebook. I mean, another thing, Jim, and I personally just adore social media because I know the power of it and what it can do for businesses. So this is not just you selling somebody some crap, right? That they
Oh,
don't
absolutely not.
understand,
Yeah.
and that at the end of the day they're going to say, well, that didn't work either, and I'm going to quit paying Jim, right? I mean,
Mhm.
what you're selling, they're getting way, what I'm trying to say, not, I'm not doing too great of a job, probably because it's 10 o'clock and I generate, my brain only gets rolling by about 11. But anyway,
Yeah.
uh, the power of this stuff, they're going to love the power of this stuff because
Right.
it really is extremely powerful, and they're actually getting so much more out of this than they're paying you. The business that they get, they're going to make thousands upon thousands from paying you a much smaller sum. But for you, and another thing, Jim, and you might want to talk about attorney marketing intensive in particular, but another thing I love about your stuff, you've got it down to what I call a mindless science, because you're like me. I mean, you're a strategic thinker. You're not going to sit there and spend 12 hours a day screwing around with one client, right? I mean, you
Right.
want
No,
stuff that's
absolutely.
repeatable. You want stuff that you can outsource. You want stuff that software can do. It's going to have a big bang, but you want to do this so that you can, intelligently grow your business into many, many clients.
Hmm. Right.
Um, we got a couple of questions. Saul, who is on many of my webinars, and I thank you for that, Saul, wants to know more about LinkedIn, more about how LinkedIn figures into this. Let's start with that one. And then Rafal, you've got a question, so we'll talk about that too.
Yeah. How LinkedIn really comes into it is first of all, I have in the course a 7-step guide to making your attorney an expert, branding them as an expert, and it's just following the 7 steps from profile creation or upgrading, to contacting people, and it's just connections, and then offering uh, just things of value. And I kind of give a uh, question by question playbook in there as well, as far as things that they can write on, talk about, do like video blogs. And that's really what kind of the how LinkedIn becomes that process. So as that attorney is getting oh more and more as an expert, he's getting more and more followers, and he's not soliciting anyone for business. So it's not like he's selling. All he's doing is becoming an expert. So he's becoming an expert to all these different people on there that he's made connections with. And what happens is eventually, uh, you know, somebody's going to need an attorney for something, and it's either going to come through a word of mouth type of thing, or it's going to come from somebody directly, because they're going to see that this guy is an expert. He's talking on all these cool topics, and then it's like, oh, hey, you know what? There's an attorney on LinkedIn that I keep seeing that he really knows his stuff. Go, you need to contact this guy. And so as they build their following, that really is, where the LinkedIn process really comes on. And it does take about 30 days really to kind of begin to build that tribe, have the posts out there and everything like that. But I found that 30 days is kind of the magic day, if you will, where, he's doing all these different things, every day or every other day. And then you start to see some massive results from LinkedIn, because you'll start getting, hey, so-and-so saw you on LinkedIn. I saw you on LinkedIn. And they start to go, wow, this LinkedIn stuff really works.
Yeah, LinkedIn's literally my favorite platform for that.
So,
Where do you and don't give the farm away here. I mean, if you can't legitimately answer this
okay.
question, just don't do it. But where do you get the content for this? So let's say you got 10 attorney clients, and they're not all DUI attorneys. So
Sure.
So you can't repeat the content too much. Let's say you
No.
got a couple of DUIs and then some personal injury and maybe a couple of guys that are just getting started. So where does this content come from?
Good question. Basically, in the course, what I teach is where to outsource that to.
Nice.
Your attorney is going to kind of put together bullet points, a little bit about him, about who they are, and then there's a website to go to that for like 3 cents a word, they can write content, and it doesn't have to be a lot.
Nice.
I also, I have my attorneys, and some of them are like, I don't have time, I don't want to do this. Well, do it, and I just tell them they'll do anything that I tell them to do. I'm not sheepish with any of these guys. I don't care if they're attorneys. I don't care who they are. It's just I'm going to say, no, it's something that, if you want to hire me, this is what we got to do. And I'll say, block out an hour. We're going to shoot 10 videos. And it's just, I'll ask them a question, kind of like you're doing me.
Yep.
And I'll say, hey, what about this? And we're on. He'll talk. Great. All right. What about this? And so then right there, I've got 10 videos that I can have him put up. I can have his assistant put up. And, because I charge my attorney clients what I do, I handle them personally. I sit there and I'll meet with his assistant who's going to do all his work, because generally they don't want to do any of that work. So I'll get her the videos and I'll say, okay, here's how you logged in. And I give instructions how to do that. And you're going to post this on this day. And I kind of, get it where it's kind of in working order, and I'm monitoring it. And then then it takes care of itself. But, and then I'll just say, next month I'm coming back and we're going to shoot 10 more videos. And then you've got your video content along with your posts that have been written. And a lot of times your attorneys will have emails, things like that they'll send out and have a newsletter. And then it's just a lot of it's just cut and paste stuff too.
Surely.
Those are the different ways to get out content.
Right. So a lot of these guys already have content. They just don't have the understanding and really don't have the time to do anything with it.
Exactly. Nobody's ever told them, hey, this is what you need to do. This is how you can do it. And
right. Well, they're working 80 hours a week as attorneys. They don't need to sit down and learn how LinkedIn works.
Exactly. That's yeah.
The videos, I take it, are interview style videos.
Interview style videos, and generally what I try and do is make it where it's not. I don't even the attorney part of it, where they're speaking. I mean, I'm not even in it. I'm just asking the question.
Okay, that's what I
and
want
turning
to
the camera on. I cut out my questions, and then, like, for instance, the answer to question 1, boom, and that's the video. And then the question 2, boom, that's another video.
So you basically set it up with them. They answer the question, and you take the part where they answered the question and turn that into the video.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I love this. And again, stop me if I'm asking anything that you don't want to answer because
No
we're
worries.
currently giving this away for free.
Nah.
But I just get so excited that I just start asking questions because I just love this stuff.
And
Uh,
I don't mind giving away things of value. And I'm not really giving away the
oh, I
farm,
know you
but
don't.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've got so much in your courses. I mean, we could sit here and talk for 2 hours and we would have barely scraped the surface
Well, and
because
see
you
that
have
that was
such a, yeah, go
no
ahead.
part. Sorry. No, I was going to say that was a thing where this one I could have made the ebook about 150 pages. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
cut it down to like 65, 67 pages, and then I've got video content in there that's not even covered in the PDF, just because there
Yes.
was so much to this. So yeah, so it's and I tell everybody in the course, in the kind of the all right, what's included, that watch all the videos because there's stuff in the videos that aren't covered in the PDF. Just because there's so much content. I don't want to make this war and peace.
Right, right. Yeah, and that is really true, guys. The PDFs and because I've been through a number of Jim's courses, the PDFs and Jim's courses are not the same thing as the videos. You need to go through both. So these videos for the attorneys end up being fairly short. Am I correct about
Yeah,
that? I mean, just a few
yeah,
minutes long as they answered that particular
minutes
question.
long. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now they
Uh-huh.
can be longer, and if it gets too long, it's like anything. People don't want to sit through a 15-minute video. So if they give me a
Right.
15-minute answer, I'm going to chop that up in about maybe uh, four videos.
Okay, so about 4 minutes apiece. Okay, that and yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I do a lot of video marketing myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I was wondering about that. That's awesome. Do you put any kind of intro or outro on these things for them, or do you just
Generally, that is in the what am I trying to say? The text that's in the post, or the text that's in the email, things like that. Is
uh-huh.
so I don't get into too much video production, and I haven't felt that I needed it. If
So
that
it's
makes
really
sense.
just the raw video of the guy or gal answering that question.
Yeah, yeah,
I love that. I love that because YouTube is I mean one of the huge things about that people love about YouTube is the fact that it is raw. And people, when people just see somebody talking about something, they have a greater level of trust than if they see something that's all slicked up with a really slick intro and really slick outro and stuff
yeah.
like that, where there's a much higher production value. That's when people on YouTube really feel like they're being sold, as opposed to they can't develop the relationship with the person, is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. And it's all know, like, and trust.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Let's see what other questions you have. Saul says it's a trust and authority angle. Uh,
Bingo.
VIP member. I'm not totally sure if I understand your question. You said, do you have the price just for PPC on Google on page PDF? This was on the sales page. I'm thinking, and whoever, I'm pretty sure your mama did not name you a VIP member, by the way, but whatever your name is, uh, I'm thinking that you want this to use in your own marketing for proof or something like that. I mean, would it be okay with you if somebody just took a Jim, if somebody just took a screenshot of those PPC prices and
Yeah, yeah,
use that in there?
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
guys, you can get this straight from Google, by the way. I mean,
yeah,
you
exactly.
can go to
That's
Google
where that came from.
AdWords and
Yeah,
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 just open up an ad. Well, if you got a Google account, then just open up an AdWords account and go there, and it'll price all that stuff. Uh, John has a great question. Could you develop a lot of general content, videos, etc., that you could use for several attorneys?
one more time.
Well, in other words, could you have a video, let's say, and John, I'm just kind of filling this in. So if I'm missing if I'm missing your point, let me know. But let's say you had a series of whiteboard videos about DUI attorneys in general, stuff about DUI attorneys or stuff about what you
Mhm.
should do if you have a DUI and stuff like that. And let's say you had 5 whiteboard videos, but they weren't specific to Sally, who's an attorney in Grand Rapids, and Bill, who's an attorney in Montana or somewhere like that. They're not specific to those people. It's just the same video. So could you use those? I mean, would you consider using
Mm,
those for several
I wouldn't.
clients or okay?
No, no, no. If
Thanks, a
again,
great answer.
we're we're branding them as an expert. All right, so it needs to
Yes.
be that. Now we want to use that as a marketing video, like I've included in the course. Perfect. But as far as if you're going
Uh-huh.
to brand as an expert, I mean, you can intermingle those type of videos, but it's more about branding as an expert. So, you could have, Joe Smith do some Joe Smith interviews and then drop in from Joe Smith a whiteboard, what to do when you're pulled over and you think you might have had too
Nice.
much to drink,
Nice.
those things. But yeah, you don't want that to be your entire marketing campaign. No.
Because that doesn't brand. I mean, the branding is
No.
specifically when you've got Joe Smith on camera and Joe Smith is sitting there answering the question of, hey folks, if you ever pulled over by the police and you actually have been drinking a little bit, this is what you need to do in the state of Iowa.
Mhm.
This is state law. Let me explain this to you.
Right.
That kind of thing. Yeah, because that way people looking at that, John, you want, and everybody else, you want the whole purpose of the branding in this business, the whole purpose of the branding is building trust with that individual, right?
Right. And here's the
Yeah.
thing: laws are different from state to state.
Right.
As far as a perfect example with suspicion of DUI, everybody's or a lot of people probably heard about somebody that they pull over, they realize they have too much to drink, they pull over, they fall asleep in their car. Okay, what is going to cause you to be possibly arrested for DUI? The
Right.
laws are different in every state.
Sure.
So it's kind of like you can have, as long as they're not in the ignition.
Right. Right.
But some states are, the keys can't be, you can't have the keys anywhere around you where you could actually drive the car while drinking or while
Right. Right.
being
Right.
drunk.
Yeah.
So there's
So
all
so
kinds of,
hence
yeah,
another reason you don't want to use cookie cutter and generic
no.
videos, because you're going to use something that was made in New York and is not applicable in Georgia.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, but I think the real answer there, John, is it doesn't brand. And this is all about branding. This is all about, excuse me, this is all about that attorney getting a whole bunch of people knowing who he or she is and trusting him or her, right?
Bingo.
Rafal has a question. Lead generation, is that something we can outsource to you? I'm guessing Rafal is asking if Rafal can outsource it to you, Jim, or should Rafal do this himself? Or let's just talk about the question this way.
Sure.
Do you help these guys understand how not to get in the trap of doing all this crap themselves?
Absolutely. Yeah. Most of the stuff that I teach in this is outsourced. I give my sources, of who I use and what I do. But yeah, so outsourcing it to me, no, I tried that. I'm so busy with my own client work that
Yeah,
I can't take on other
yeah, yeah.
clients.
And Rafal, frankly, it's going to work better for you and your business if you develop your own ways of outsourcing. You'll be able to scale that a lot better. Having your business depend on another business is generally not that good of an idea.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see what else we got. For the product itself, can you tell us a little bit about the upsells and what they are?
Yeah, I've got a
'Cause-
couple of upsells. One is I put together the training, the 3-pack training. So if somebody wanted to uh, use, uh, uh, get not only do the branding and positioning as an expert. I've got the 3-pack training so that they can get ranked on Google and charge even more money. And I give an example in the course, what I charge for what I do is I package it. I mean, I go $1,500 if I'm going to do 3-pack. I do $1,500 a month if I'm going to do the branding and lead generation, and then $2,500 if they want me to do both. That's my pricing.
Okay, guys, did you hear that? Because hang on, Jim.
Sure.
Let's just stop right there because that was beautiful. Did you hear that? So 3-pack, what you're talking about is Google My Business stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Jim, that course that your last course on Google My Business was remarkable. Just the SEO component was incredible. It was really cool stuff, and flat out works because I've been doing Google My Business for businesses since before it was called Google My Business. But exactly. So did you guys hear that pricing? 1,500 for the lead generation only, 1,500 for Google My Business if a client happens to want the Google My Business, basically SEO for their Google page. And I love the way you put those two. You add those up, that's $3,000. But Jim, if you want it today, if you want both of these, I tell you what, I'll knock $500 off that price for you right now, and we can just do the whole thing for $2,500. You ready to get started on that? Yeah, I love that, guys. That's excellent pricing.
And I find and you know what? I'm not saying that has to be the end all be all. Some people may want to kind of start do it a little bit different. But I mean, that's my pricing. Somebody wanted to go, 800,
sure,
1,200. Do it that way.
Yeah, and quite frankly, and I've got a couple of questions leading up to this that we're going to get to. Rick, I think one of those is yours. Some people, when they're getting going, they're just a little nervous. They don't have, and it's totally understandable. They don't have yet enough confidence in themselves. They don't have yet enough confidence in what they're selling, and it's just a little too much to be charging the big bucks like the big boys. So they want to kind of not necessarily get in the baby end of the pool, but let's say get in the middle part of the pool where they can't really drown, right?
Right.
And, so I like that. 800 or 1,200. I mean, guys, and Serena, this is going to be the answer to your question. Guys, we're talking about per month. Okay, we're not talking about a one-off. That's another thing I just absolutely love about this because Jim, and I'm actually doing some coaching about this, which is starting Tuesday. One of the huge, like massive, it wasn't really a mistake. It was just I just didn't know any better that I did in my business back in the day when I started it was I was just selling mainly one-offs. I didn't understand that really what I wanted to focus on was recurring income products. So I love the fact that all of your stuff focuses on recurring income products because it takes some time to find that customer. Oh, God knows. Tell me about it. Been there, done that, got a whole closet full of T-shirts of how stupid. They all say Lee is stupid, by the way. But anyway, I mean,
I've got one.
It's not hard. Everybody who's successful has a closet full of those, right?
Yeah.
It's not hard to get a client, but it does take work and it will take time, guys. So you want that client ideally to pay you for many months running. And Jim, with the quality of what you're selling them, quality defined as what it's going to do for your client, these guys are going to pay you monthly for a very long time.
Right. And I find that, the best way to keep my client is by kind of doing what I was talking about. Always working with the, if the attorney's going to do it, great. If he kind of doesn't wants to let his assistant do it, and always kind of being there for her, touching base with him, and doing that by always being in contact and them always, asking me questions, talking with them, and just an email a week. That's how I keep clients. And you don't have the churn. Churn kills you. It kills you in this business.
That is the kiss of death. I mean, you will very rapidly hit a very low ceiling and not be able to go above it, and you'll end up just burning out.
Yeah.
Andre has a wonderful question. So, when you're making the video with your attorney client, are you actually going to their place of work and making a video? If so, what kind of equipment do you use? Just use your cell phone? Are you getting them to make the video? Do you do something like get on Zoom and make the video, where you can just do a screen, thing? How's that working?
Yes. It all works on. It just depends on the client. For instance,
Okay.
like I've got clients that are not in Kansas City,
Okay.
so of course I'm not really able to shoot video for them. So we will do, screen videos.
Right.
Most of my clients are in Kansas City, and so what I will do is generally go to their office. I use uh, my iPhone.
Right.
Yeah, I find that those take good enough pictures that it works just fine. And you know what? It doesn't have to be professional. There can be stumbles. There can be I don't want it like you were talking a little bit earlier. I don't want it
Yes.
to be slick and salesy, and because you know what, attorneys already at times have kind of a bad reputation.
They're
Uh,
scary. Absolutely.
because you get a lot, you see the guys on commercials, and some of them just don't have, you get kind of a slimy feel from them.
Yeah.
So, and there's reputations out there. So that's the thing that, I don't want it to be too overproduced.
Right.
Um,
Right.
then it just feels like what it does is it doesn't feel like, hey, my client, the client that I want to get them can identify with them. It feels like, oh my God, this guy is so slick. He is so, this thing is produced so well. I'm not going to be able to afford this guy, and that's not what I want.
I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Absolutely. That is exactly aligns with my own experience. And
Yeah.
guys, your iPhone, just hold it sideways so that you
Mm-hmm.
don't get that
Bingo.
stupid up and down thing in your video. But beyond that, your iPhone is perfect. And if you got
Yep.
if you got a client out of town, use something like Zoom. And
Yep.
look, everybody's got a camera on their computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just get your attorney to set up their laptop, turn on their camera. People know how to do that nowadays,
Yeah.
and just do it like that, and you'll be fine. Uh, so Rick has the proverbial chicken or the egg problem. In other words, when you're new, how the hell do you get started because you're new and nobody's going to believe you, which Jim, you and I know is a big is just a big bag of nonsense. And Rick, I'm not knocking you, buddy. Everybody worries about that. But Jim, let me just ask this to you like this. Does if someone is a newbie, okay, or at least
Mm-hmm.
they're a newbie to attorney marketing, right? Does your
Right.
course help them take baby-ish steps so that they can go from zero to getting a client, to getting a few clients, to getting 10 clients? To address that issue, that is essentially a confidence issue. Does your
Yeah.
course do that?
Well, let's go back to the Craigslist thing.
All right.
Those are great places to start because you're not dealing with a guy. You're not going on, looking for the guy that's, the personal injury guy, that does pay per click. What you're finding is a guy that's, not spending a lot on marketing, but knows that marketing is important. And if you can just show, use results in the course, if you can show that, and even first guy, maybe super discounted, where all you're asking him to do is pay for your out of pocket for your outsourcing and things like that. And then have him pay you after for the lead generation. You could do it that way. Get that first client. The biggest thing is to get your first client. Don't worry
Amen.
about 5 clients, 6 clients, 10 clients, 20 clients. Get that first client. Make that your goal, and then move on to the next one. And if you kind of have to discount the first guy, and just tell him, say, I I've got other clients, but I'm starting out with attorneys. I'm going to do the same thing that I've done for you with these other people. And, you and I know that's BS, but you just say, hey, I'm going to give you a super discount, and I'll bill you after for the lead generation. All I need you to do is pay for my costs, and that's a great way to start out.
Absolutely. Rick, I had those same fears 2 years ago when I started out. But in point of fact, no one ever asked me if I was new, and I never lied. I just basically, and I didn't have a track record. I didn't say, "Hey, well, I took this attorney over here in this specialty, and they're now the top whatever,
Right.
and I can do the same thing." But I didn't have anything to point to, and so what I did was, Rick, I just talked about the process. I talked about what I was going to do. Back then, I was selling Google Places stuff, which I've already said that I adore. But I just said, this is what I'm doing. This is the kind of thing that this should help your business. This is how much I'm charging. I just bypassed the credibility issue by talking about what I was doing, and I literally never ever had anybody question it. So Rick, you're fine, buddy. Just get going, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Keith has a wonderful question. Hey, Keith, how you doing, bud? So if an attorney has a ton of blog content on their website, which some do, you could adapt that to videos for Facebook and
Bingo.
LinkedIn and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, do you put any of this video content on Facebook and LinkedIn, or is it go on YouTube, or where does it go?
Yeah, definitely. Facebook groups, LinkedIn,
Okay.
YouTube channel. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Love that. Love that. Richard basically is asking, Richard doesn't like technology. Richard, I don't either too
I
much.
don't either.
Uh, Jim, do you have in your course how for these people to find good quality outsourcers to do the technological work for them?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's covered.
Awesome. Uh, Sean, this is just starting, but you're in luck, buddy. We're recording the whole thing. Usually I can get recordings out. Well, I can guarantee I can get it out in 24 hours. Okay. So I will it'll probably be able to mail this out to you today. So we've been going about 50 minutes, and Jim, I'm not going to ask you for too much more of your time here.
No
I
problem.
really appreciate it. But Sean, you just get the recording started at the top. Jim is just dropping golden nuggets like the proverbial golden goose. So you want to look at this whole thing. Jimmy asked, what kind of products do you offer the attorneys? Jimmy, I think we kind of covered that. I don't know if you got in late or not. Jim, you're talking about branding. Let me just see if I understood. Okay, you're talking about branding. You're talking about posting. That you just said posting videos on Facebook, LinkedIn,
Yeah.
things like that. I'm assuming YouTube. That kind of stuff.
Right.
So. And also you're talking about upselling them to Google My Business stuff. So that kind of thing. And I don't want to reveal too much, but I think just knowing, having looked at the course and having thoroughly been through several of your other courses, Jimmy, I know for a fact that Jim has this completely laid out. Okay, you basically just need to start at the top and move your way through reading the PDF and looking at the videos, and it will be very, very clear. Jim also has excellent customer service. You mind if these guys go through the whole course, if they just are sitting there with like, oh my God, I can't get started because I got this question. You mind if they just hit you up in support with a question that they got?
That's what my help desk is for.
Awesome. Rick wants to know how responsive are Craigslist ads.
Well, you know what,
Jim, you want to talk about the efficiency of doing that?
Well, here's the thing. In the Craigslist ad, as far as like on my end, they've got their contact info. If they don't have the contact info, you go to their website and look and get it that way. these guys are not making a killing on Craigslist. All right. So they're not making a lot of money by advertising on Craigslist. What you're looking for is just somebody that's like willing, is like, he understands marketing. He just is like, has no idea what to do. So what the hell? I'll put up a Craigslist ad. And they're getting nickel and dime clients.
Yeah.
So they're not, they're getting bargain shoppers. They're getting, people that just got busted for a DUI and have, $50 to pay an attorney, which and I know isn't going to happen. But so they're not getting, and I don't even mention Craigslist. Well, actually, I do. I just say, hey, I saw your ad on Craigslist, and here's the deal. I work with attorneys specifically, and I can bring you. And what I do is I tell them I can bring you a higher caliber clientele, and upsell what I'm going to be able to bring them. And I find that they're like, oh, really? Let's talk. And so that's the thing with Craigslist. So the Craigslist marketing for them isn't really making them a ton of money. All it's doing is, let's just say it's cash flow for them, until hopefully they can do a good job for somebody that's going to pay me more money. And that's really what, with Craigslist marketing. So I hope that answers the question.
So really, Craigslist is beautiful because you have people, the attorney, your prospective clients, who know that they should be marketing. They're trying to do some kind of marketing, and since they're on Craigslist, they're probably failing at marketing. So,
Right.
so they know they should be doing it, and they're probably not doing it very well. And then you walk in and say, "Hey, I can do this."
Yes.
I mean, that's beautiful. That's excellent targeting, by the way.
Yeah, it really does work.
John wants to know if John can get a Leah Stupid T-shirt. No, John, my daughter has collected all of those.
Yeah.
And shows them to me on regular occasion.
Yeah, my girls have pretty much printed those off.
We talked about having daughters right before the webinar started. Yes, absolutely. Serena wants to know, this is a beautiful question, Serena. How many months on average do your clients stay with you?
Generally, on average, I've had clients that have been with me for 2 years. I would say the average is probably 8 to 12 months. And what happens most of the time, like for instance, perfect example, you mentioned the page 1 course. I had very few refunds on that course. It was that a lot of them were like, oh my God, I'm 75 years old and I can't do this. I will generally be generating so much business that a lot of times these people go, you know what? I'm good for right now. Turn it off. I'll call you when I'm looking for more business.
That's
now, of
fair.
course, I try and dissuade them from that, but it just happens. It's the reality of business. So I'd say, my good clients, stick with me forever. But 8 to 12 months is on average how long I keep a client on average.
Yeah, when you think about it like this, though, let's say your clients are I'm just trying to make the math easy. Let's say your clients are paying you an average of $1,500 a month. And let's say that you take Jim up on this, you buy the Attorney Marketing Intensive, which, by the way, I should probably put a link to this in the chat here for you so you can go see it. Hang on just a second. That should be my link. Absolutely it is. Sending that to everybody. So let's say you buy it. You put on the blinders, you quit screwing around, and you actually focus on doing this. You get a client, you get 2 clients, you get 3 clients. The beautiful thing about this, guys, you get up to 10 clients, you get up to 20 clients. Then it's kind of like a rancher managing a herd. You just got to replace one cow when one cow dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you get up to the level you want to be at. So if you got 1,500 a month, 10 clients, that's 15,000 a month, which is $180,000 a year. Granted, there's some expenses, but not too much. It's an extremely high profit margin business. So let's say you're good with that. So then you have one drop off. Well, you already know how to get clients. You just got to put a new one in, right?
Right. And
So,
see, that's the thing. Yeah. And you can be, when you get up to that level, you can be very, very picky on who you take. That's the thing that's great.
Yeah, that's great. This is beautiful. Let's answer a few more questions, then I'll let you go because we're almost at an hour. Rafal, I think Jim touched on the OTOs. The first OTO was the Google My Business thing,
Yeah.
right?
And then the second one was basically it's a even more in depth LinkedIn checklist. Also, I've got a way to go onto Facebook and actually go into groups and attorney groups and things like that and post so that you'll have these interested attorneys contacting you. So you're really just and I include that post. So you, and what you're doing is you're going into, and I'll kind of give away a little bit of it. You're going into a specific city where you want to work, and where there's a lot of organizations of business members that belong to these Facebook groups, and so you just make a post, and then you're going to have people contacting you that are like, hey, yeah, I'm an attorney. I'd like to hear more. And it's a really awesome way that I do it in all my other businesses where but my other aspects of consulting other than attorneys. But it's a great way of just having interested people contact you instead of you reaching out to them.
I love that. Now, Jim, I'm going to put you on the spot, and this is a little unfair. Are you ready?
Uh-oh, I guess.
Okay. So, but I already know the answer to this because I know the quality of your products. Is this one of those deals where when you buy the first product, which folks we call the front end product, is this one of those deals when you buy the front end product, but it's really not that useful and it's really not going to work unless you buy some of these OTOs, or is that front end product going to stand on its own?
The front end product stands on its own. I don't do that. I know there are other marketers
Yeah, I
out
know.
there that do that, but no, the OTOs are just bonuses that'll make your lives a little bit easier and cover some different things and additional things in your business that you might want to do. But no, the front end stands on its own. You just need that front end product, and everything is there. Everything is laid out.
Oh, your front end products are completely in depth. I mean, guys, I wanted Jim to answer it, but I can just tell you myself because I love Jim stuff. It's completely in depth. It stands on its own. Uh, if you can afford it, I never tell people, Jim, to buy stuff they can't afford. I'm just so tight with
No,
money
never.
myself. I'm kind of a miser. But anyway, guys, if you can afford it, you would probably do well to buy probably both those OTOs. But if you
Yeah.
can't buy the second one, I definitely try to buy the first one because Jim's Google My Business stuff is really the most complete Google My Business stuff that's current that I know of right now. It's really awesome stuff. But buy what you can afford. But if you can't afford it, now's the time to buy the OTOs with this guy. Frankly, okay, just being honest with you. Let's see what else we got, and then we'll just say, yep. Serena wants to know if you have a client who just says, "Hey Jim, I got enough work right now. Let's just turn it off for a while," and and then you keep up with them because you're a good salesperson, right? You
Mm-hmm.
keep up with them. 6 months
Sure.
later, they say, "Okay, I mean, they're in the same boat you are. They got enough work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I had a few clients drop out. I need some more clients. I mean, do you accept them back into the family, or do you just ostracize them because they dropped you?"
Well, it depends on how we part ways. But
Yeah, yes.
generally, yeah. I mean, because you know what, I've already done good work for them, and
Yeah,
but I set the expectations also, and I tell them, I can't guarantee anything. I mean, we had it cooking, and it's going to be a ramp up process. If I was getting them,
sure.
25, 30 appointments, and then, we turn it off for 3 months, I'm going to tell them, hey, it's a ramp up period. So,
Well, that's a
that's,
good thing to
yeah.
say when they call you up and say, "Hey, look, I got enough clients." Just say that's fine. When you have some of those, when you get through with some of those, you need some more. Hit me up. By the way, just so you know, it's going to take another 3 months to get this going. I'm just letting
Right.
you know that you might want to just continue paying me. And I mean, hell, they can refer these things to other people. They're just like doctors.
Sure.
So, you might want to do that, just, but whatever. Yeah. Uh, a couple more questions. Then we're going to
Okay.
let Jim go because Jim is actually down in Florida and enjoying the warm weather. Sean wants to know, do you run into many, Sean, I'm just going to paraphrase here. Do you run into many attorney clients or potential attorney clients who are assholes?
Yeah. Yeah. All the time. And here's the thing, and different people are work different ways. Some of my best clients are the guys that want to butt heads with me and go nose to nose and be an asshole. And because I can be one back, and
Yeah, yeah.
so it's what, and that's what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody that's gonna have an attitude that will stand up to them. And and again, it comes with confidence, but I tell them all, you need me more than I need you. I'm offering my services,
Ooh, I
and
love that.
here's what I do. But you know what? Reality of things are, you need me more than I need you, and yeah, and they get that. They understand that, especially Craigslist guy. He gives me any crap. I'm like, look, you're advertising on Craigslist. You need me more than I need you.
I love the way you said Craigslist because when you said that, I thought, well, hell, you met this person on Craigslist, and that's crap
Yeah,
for them, right? It's not
right.
crap for you, it's crap for them, and I would probably look at somebody and just, politely say, well, let's look at the whole picture.
Yeah,
You're spending your time, you went to law school, you have student loans out the yin yang. You're spending your time posting a little bitty ads on Craigslist, which I know aren't doing too much for you. I can get you business. You need me a whole lot worse than I need you. So do you want to do what I tell you to, or do you, or are we going to do it my way, or are you just going to find somebody else to pretend like you know what you're doing?
exactly.
That would be something that would come out of my mouth because I'm a little bit of a smartass. So
Yeah.
couple more. Randy wants to know, do they need a website and a domain, a slick looking website? Do they need to be members of the Chamber of Commerce? In other words, do they need lots of bells and whistles with which
Now,
to impress these guys with?
I am not a member of any chamber, and my um, website, my URL, my website is crap. So the answer is no.
Yes,
Um,
that's absolutely, guys.
Absolutely not. Because
Absolutely.
I've never had anybody ask me and go, hey, can I, let me check out your website. Those are the ones where I go, you know what, you're, it's not, you and I are probably not going to be doing much business together, because if you need to go check my website, because all that is an excuse either to get me off the phone or to just say you're not interested. And then I just throw it right back at them and say, you know what, if you're just going to go check out my website, I'll be honest with you, I don't have I met a guy in a restaurant one time. He's like, hey, give me your business card. I was like, I don't have a business card. I don't have a website. Either you want to do business with me or you don't. I get results. Bottom line, and,
Yes,
and
absolutely. Absolutely.
I wrote my phone number on a napkin, and I say here, and I said, here you go. And he ended up calling me. He said, you know what, I appreciate that you were honest, and you're not slick. You're not selling.
Right.
You're just saying, you're going to get results, and here's what you're going to deliver. I was like, yeah, that's what I do.
Guys, if you will just stick to talking about the facts, what you're doing, you're going to be fine. Okay, so those of you who are
Yeah,
like really new and you're really nervous because I'm getting some of these questions in the chat, if you will just stick to the facts, you're just going to be fine. And if somebody tries to push you around, just look, you can always hang up the phone. Okay, that is allowed.
absolutely.
And if somebody's
Don't. Yeah.
they
No, I was
they
gonna
are
say,
attorneys, so if
yeah.
somebody's trying to push you around, then you don't have to be a big, what, back to them if that's
No.
not your style. You just politely dig your heels in and say, well, look, let's just stick to the facts here. Okay. Here's the fact. From what you told me, you need help marketing. You're on Craigslist. I know, for you, that's probably not going too well. I can help you with that. Really, the fact of the matter is, are you open to have someone helping you with your marketing or aren't you? Because if you are, then I would love to talk to you about that. And if you're not, then honestly, I need to just end this conversation and move on because I got about 5 other people to talk to today. I mean, you can
Absolutely.
politely do stuff like that. Just draw the line in the sand and politely do that. Uh, yeah, Rick. Yeah, Rick recognizes that most people do not necessarily ask credibility questions most of the time. Rick, I would say nobody asks credibility questions ever. I've never been asked one. Okay, I think we about got it, guys. Jim, I really appreciate your time. This is awesome stuff, folks. This will be put on a web page somewhere. I'm going to mail that out to you guys. Probably be a little later on today. And you know, Jim, how much longer is this available for the launch at the launch pricing?
Through Monday.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, through Monday.
Today being Saturday, guys, so you got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. You're probably closing it out at midnight or something,
Yeah.
I'm guessing. And it is, you know, get this, okay, get this, because again, Jim stuff absolutely rocks. Jim, really appreciate your time, buddy.
I
And
appreciate
you
being here.
just continue on enjoying yourself down in the warm weather, sitting by the pool, while the rest of us deal with winter. Okay, just a little guilt trip, not too much.
Oh, I feel so guilty.
I know you do. I know you do. I'm just teasing you.
No problem at all.
Okay, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right,
Guys,
absolutely.
thank you so much for getting on the webinar on this Saturday morning. See y'all soon.